I'll do as I'm told.
For the price, I cannot think of a better setup. While I'm not bored of it, I wished it was done now.
Look at you being all soft.
Oh, okay then. Ayup Woodlanders, welcome back to another woodlog, and in this one we're going to kick things off with a little bit of sawmilling. This is the bit they don't show you on the videos. We're mauling about with a log for half an hour just to try and get onto some sort of bench. Well, I'm out of breath, but that took quite a while to get on there. Maybe looking forward, we may have to change how we get the log onto some sort of deck, because you can't do it on the floor. This is sweet chestnut. You might see it looks decidedly past its sell-by date, but this is the beauty of sweet chestnut, is that's the sapwood there where it's gone all pulpy, and this is the heartwood, which is super resilient. Some people even claim it's better than oak, and I'm inclined to agree to some extent. It is amazing timber. So now we've got it on here, we'll put the Clampmill on, see what mess we can make of that, and then once we've got that on, we can saw out the chainsaw. So this is 441. I bought this, I got it on a good price years ago. It can be a nuisance to start if you haven't had it started for a while, and it seems to be, it likes mild weather. So according to the people that sell you these, is it chainsaw bars? People that sell you these things, is they say to soak the chain in oil overnight, which I'll be honest, I have never done before. I didn't know it was a thing really. So there you go, you live and learn. The idea being that it helps to stop a lot of the chain stretch because all the rivets get oil in them. So I'll do as I'm told. As for choice of chainsaws, I'd probably go for something like a 390, which has the same pitch and gauge and chain and things like that, but it's very much more a robust kind of farmer-esque low grunty saw, which I think is better for sawmilling work. I'm probably miles off there, but it's just an opinion really. I've got my deck way too high. Lifting a log on is very difficult, and then once you've got the sawmill up there, which we're now talking about, this is now chest height. So this is at my chest, and I think that's going to be too high. I'm going to give it an experiment with this one, see how we go. And then the other thing I'm having a job with is when you tension up, so you tension up with this onto the log so it sits and it's sort of attached and secured, it bites in with them dog things there, is it makes the deck flex like that, so it dishes. Now the idea is you've got this thing here which is a threaded bar that runs all the way through it, and at the other end there's a nut on it, and apparently you're supposed to tension up, crank that so it puts tension on the other way and it gets it nice and straight. Now I've had this at the top, I've had it at the bottom, I've had it back at the top, and I've tensioned up and it doesn't make any difference to the flex. So I don't know whether you'll see that on camera, but it does just dish downhill. Now I'm not overly worried about that because I'm not doing big sections. Now if I was doing like 6x6s, you don't really want a curved log. However, I'm only doing sort of thinner planks that will probably end up getting cut into shorter lengths, so the dish isn't too bad. And re-watch the video later to see if I'm missing a trick. compression. You've really got to secure the log because of the weight of that saw, it's quite heavy. It tries to try and turn and roll the log. So while I'll persevere with this trestle thing just for this log, you've got to secure your log. On the videos, you have to. It looks like you have to take the sawmill off, put it back on again, take the sawmill off, put it back on again. And I'm wondering if there's a better way than that. And I'm just going to experiment for a minute to see if I can get away without taking it on and off. And then the other thing I noticed is, like this log, where you've got a natural taper all the way down the log, and you've got the pith in the centre. Now sawmillers, you've really got to isolate the pith because that's where all the splits happen. Only on this, because this is fixed to this, which means that this carriage always maintains the same distance from these sort of log rests. It then means that you'd have to correct this at the start, so you'd have to basically cut, I think, a notch out of here to get this to sit lower, closer to the pith, so that the first cut will cut out your taper and the next cut will get your cuts more parallel to the pith, because if you don't, you end up in a bit of a mess. I'm not overly worried about that at this point. I just want to get sawmilling, but just little things I noticed. So if you can work out the difference between the taper of the log, so let's say you're 2 inches higher here than you are down there, I think you'd have to cut a 2-inch notch out of there so this can sit lower and your first cut will come off. That's what you can hope to achieve. Sweet chestnut. This isn't really a usable plank because there's too much sapwood on this side. So this is, I can't think what they call it, flitch cuts is it, or something like that? Fitch cuts. That's what I call it, flitch. It's a bit rippled. That could be down to the chain being a bit loose because I need to tighten it. But based on that, it's not a bad finish, is it? That really. This is the other thing I've not worked out yet. Is these are depth gauges. Maybe these are 1/2 inch holes, and I've probably got 4 holes left, so I could probably get up to about 3-inch depth per cut, which is okay for me. I would prefer to be able to get 6-inch. The only way, of course, to do that is you'd have to cut a flat, roll the log over, measure up properly, get it set up right, and then cut the other way to get a 6-inch thing out of it. It's only ever really a planking mill then, based on that, unless I'm missing something. You really can't grumble at that. Sweet chestnut, eh? With Nature Tools sawmill. See how flat it's got the cut. Anyway, I can use that. That's a nice decent inch board. I don't want to criticise it because, let's face it, it's what really is a low budget sawmill. I think they are, in pound notes, about £1,300 as you see it here, plus the price of whatever chainsaw you use. And if you've got a chainsaw, 261 would be fine. Try and get a narrow curved bar and chain on it, and you'll be ready and set up there for a sawmill. And if all you've got is sort of logs that really you're not doing much else with other than firewood, and you'd love to have some plank timber, if you're like me, you just think, what a shame to chuck all that away into a firewood pile. So for that sort of thing, it really is brilliant. And of course, it's not going to break the bank. Is it perfect? Not really, but it does get the job done. You do get planks out of it, which is, this is not a high production sawmill. but it means the hobbyist can get a fairly regular chainsaw out and you're already set to go. Turning that into planks. So I've managed to get our first log done. Got 3 planks out of that one. 2 at 1 inch and 1 at about 1 3/4 inches. Then we've done another chestnut log, but this is my other sawmill. It's called a Logosol. I've had it years. I bought it second hand off that auction site. I paid, I think, about £1,000 for it. I didn't get the saw with it, I bought that separately. But I got everything here. I've made some subtle modifications. If you're into these, you'll know that normally the carriage bed is a lot longer than that. Some of it is down there on the floor. And I modified it to take short logs. But then I realised because I'd prematurely cut this off, I had to kind of stick it back on again. So what I did, I got a piece of wood inside. And that's now got a piece of wood inside there that can sort of, you can possibly just see it slides in and out of. Nice piece of oak inside there. That works brilliantly. So I can do 2.5 metres now, and if I want to do a 4 metre long log, all I've got to do is about 6 bolts, put that in, reattach the bolts. It was all in bits and I thought, oh, I can't be bothered to put it all together. Anyway, Karen says, why don't you just get it all out of the workshop, assemble it, get on with it. And that's all I have. And of course it is actually a lot quicker than Clampmill. So I've decided to carry on with this so I can actually rattle through some of these logs just a bit faster than I would have done if that one. And it also has extra functionality than a Clampmill will have. But we'll get into that. I just want to carry on, see if I can get 2 more logs done today, because they do take a fair while. But look at that. That sweet chestnut from our woodland is just stunning. And you can't, on these you can't smell it, but the smell of the tannins. If Budo, if you're watching, you'll know what I'm on about. The smell of sweet chestnut is stunning. So that's how you can turn simple logs that are about 8, 9, 10 inches round into some superb planks. And then we'll get this one shuffled into position. I'll film some action for you, and then, well, hopefully we'll have a few more planks at the end of today. I've got to show you this. So that's sort of a crotch part there, and that'll all open up and twist and morph and all the rest of it. But look at the colours. I have no idea whether the camera can pick that up, but it's just sort of deep browns, almost pinkish. And I know it's wet at the moment, it's green inside, but those colours perhaps won't be quite as vibrant as that, but when it's waxed it should show up really well. A lovely log. We are looking after a hedgehog for a few days. That was a lot of food, 2 scoops. Wow. Okay. Lady a couple of doors down, rescues and looks after hedgehogs that need a home.
Aww.
Here we go.
Oh, hello, baby. Oh, you are so cute.
A little camera on.
Aww.
Fiery little thing, isn't it? That's it. You go upside down.
Soft.
Oh, okay then. They're great, aren't they?
You're so cute. I've put the camera on again.
Might be okay.
Yeah,
Stop
why
swearing,
not? Look at him. Look at that man, look. Uh-oh. We're getting the beast out, look. Hold on. Push. Oh, he's got him. Look, ready, I'll put the camera back. Like about nothing happened. Man, he stinks. Oh.
I'll go and put him back.
I went to school today. I learnt geography. That was interesting actually. Worst lesson? Not actually. I don't have a worst lesson today. I mean, science is pretty boring, but always coming back a bit short. I said to him, right, I know my shoes are tied. I just can't be bothered to tie them. And he said, oh, it's your funeral. I probably should be quiet at this point. He's only outside. I should have brought my phone. Hello. I'm not that tall. It's really sad.
Morning. We'll just get set up with the sawmill this morning and I'll show you how I do logs when they're really short and don't fit on the bed. In other news, just while we're setting up, last week Jeff invited me over to Fuelwood in Warwick for they've got a 3-day open day and we just popped over. Jeff had got it in his mind, morning Jeff, to get himself another log splitter, and I thought, well, you've got a log splitter, what do you want another log splitter for? Anyway, explained it. Jeff, you know you wanted a horizontal log splitter, where at the moment you have a vertical log splitter. And I thought, well, what's the advantage of having it going that way or going that way? Anyway, explained it, and I'm like, well, actually, that is really clever. And I think basically wants it so that as the logs get pushed off, they get pushed off the end of the table straight into some sort of container or basket so that you haven't got to throw them, because at the moment it gets log split and then you get your log and he has to throw it to the back of his storage container. So we went to Fuelwood, lots of big kit, big machinery. Anyway, long story short, Jeff took the plunge and bought it there and then. So he was happy. I was impressed. And this is my small log setup. You simply drop it onto a ladder. It's not perfect, I'll be honest, and of course it messes all your sizes up, but I don't tend to worry too much about that. It's simply about holding the log steady while you're sawing it. These logs are particularly short. I mean, this is only like 2 foot long. You'd be better off with something at least 3 to 4 foot, so you've got the weight of the log to help you. But that's basically it. Just drop a ladder on, and what I tend to do is do a first cut, flip it all the way over so it's flat on the deck, and then start planking it. And of course that would be the limitations of the Clampmill, is while you could do short logs, you certainly couldn't do something that's 2 foot long. You really want something, I would say 5 or 6 foot really to make that work. And I suppose after analysing yesterday's experiments with it, my conclusion seems to be that if you can get your log stabilised properly, you know, get it nice and steady, then the Clampmill really works a treat, because it's a budget sawmill at the end of the day. It's entry level, designed to help you to plank timber with the chainsaw that you've already got. I was thinking that maybe I'd have 2 days on the sawmill, bosh it out, but not a chance. We're looking at 4 or 5 days here. Not to worry, it's got to be done, and now I've set up with the Logosol, I want to try and just get it ploughed on, and then I can dismantle the Logosol, put it back into storage, and wait till I get another load of timber ready for the sawmill again. I had a quick look on Tinternet last night. You can't get these anymore. This is the M7, this is years old. They did an M8, which was the upgraded version. Now it's called the F2 and the F2 Plus. The F2 is basically the same, and I think they're still quite a reasonable price. I think the F2 standard one, which is basically the same as what you see here, the 4 metre version, I think is £1,600. This day and age, as an entry-level sawmill, I don't think that's too bad, especially if you've already got a fairly decent chainsaw to go with it. If you've got to go and spend £1,000 on a chainsaw, then you're sort of getting into the £3,000 mark, and then you can get some cheap bandsaw mills for that price, which are there's far less wastage, but they're not portable, so it depends what you want from your sawmill. I've discovered through trial and error the ladder is actually really good for doing quite small pieces. So that log's probably 7-inch diameter, and ordinarily it's very difficult to try and hold that steady because it tries to roll without the ladder. And then I put the ladder on and it was still trying to roll, and I thought, what can I do? So what I've done is I've modified the ladder, dropped some holes in, and then I just put some coach screws underneath. That fixes it, stops it from doing all this when it's on there. I'm just modifying it as I go. I don't actually use the ladder for anything else, and I've got a ladder at home, so I don't need it. And then I think the other modification I might do is where it sits here, quite close to the end, and it gets in the way of this log stop. So what I think I might do is cut the legs off there, and same the other side. That means that the ladder then is just long enough to fit on the bed. And then I think we'll take these funny clampy things off, which are normally for the double extender. And the other thing is with a ladder is you find that because the distance between these is about, let me think, it's about 7 foot. Once you get down to about a 2-inch or let's say 2.5-inch plank, and you want to mill it in half, you find that because there's no middle support normally, you can't get a straight cut, and one ends up thicker in the middle and one ends up really thin in the middle. Well, the ladder helps to stop all of that. So all round, the ladder is great for anything other than the biggest, longest of timbers. Handy little tip there for you. I couldn't have wished for a better day. We've had stunning weather, beautiful blue skies, really nice and warm, but not sweaty warm, if you know what I mean. We've got cherry, we've got sweet chestnut from yesterday, we've got lots and lots of ash, and then we've got lots and lots of sawdust. And then we've got a lot more ash just here, 2 great chunks of cherry, and a whole load of mixed stuff in there. I was doing about a log every, let me think, about every 20 to 25 minutes of the ash, because I've got a little system where we fix it underneath and all the rest of it. And that was going really well. So that means, basically, looking at that, it looks like all of that will take me another day. And then this lot, because they're shorter lengths, it could be that we've got another day in that bit there, and then another day in that bit there. Wow. Now sawmilling is running into my felling season, and I didn't really want that.
I feel like I've accomplished loads this summer, but somehow I still feel behind, and I still need to accomplish more.
Anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to pack up some of my tools. Yeah, Bella, you ready? Come on then. Good girl. What you got stuck to you? Got a bramble, come in. Okay, do you want a drink? Good morning. Yesterday I'd fully committed to marmelising my ladder. Is marmelising a word? There's one of my dad's, that is. Anyway, I've marmelised the ladder. I took the hooks off the bottom yesterday. We've added 2 bits of wood, so it slots just in there nice. That means it can't move about now. Impossible bit side to side. We can live with that. And then I've just got to drill some extra holes now, so it gives me lots of bolting up options. I'm surprised that Logosol haven't come up with something very similar. Anyway, they haven't, so I have patented my own with an old ladder, a few holes and a little bit of wood. I think that'll do us. I don't want to weaken the ladder. A surprisingly heavy log, that. I'll give you some progress updates. We've managed to get nearly all of our ash done, and then we're into this stuff. So it's about where I wanted to be. It would have been nice to get 2 more logs done, but I'll be honest with you.
My tea is calling, and I've got 1 or 2 jobs to do at home. I've got to feed the hedgehogs again, finish off pruning a tree for the next door neighbours, and then maybe squeeze some editing in between all that.
I was trying to work out how much petrol I'd used. Probably about, over the course of 2 days, I've done about a gallon of fuel. So about 2 to 2.5 litres per day. And that would be around about 5 hours of sawmilling. I don't think that's too bad, really. What's a gallon of fuel these days with 2-stroke? About £10. So £10 worth of fuel. And then I've sharpened the chain about 3 times now. I don't see you in the morning. I'll see you anon. Monday today, and it's an absolute stunner of a morning. Just makes you want to get up and get some jobs done. We're on even more sawmilling today. I'm sorry if you're bored of it, because while I'm not bored of it, I wished it was done now. The silver birch, I'm going to do a test log to see whether it is any good. Some of that oak down there is going to be too small, but with the new ladder mechanism and how I've had this working over the last few days, honestly, for the price, I cannot think of a better setup. I love it. See you on the other side of today's slabbing. That sun is very bright this morning. Just moored these 2 gigantic for me anyway. Clean your eyeballs a second. Gigantic for me anyway, cherry logs. One I've just milled before lunch, which is down there, and I've just decided to take some big slabs out of it, ready for tea light holders in the future. This one I think I'm going to do the same. I've been milling them at 1.5 inches, which means I can get I can either get a board for Karen for drawing on, or it means I can get 2 coasters out of it if I cut it in half at home on the circular saw. So anyway, that gives you an idea of sizes I'm doing.
Shipwreck in the dark, far from the harbor, far from the start. In a storm, I lost my sails, I lost all direction, got caught in the veil. I didn't know love.
Just a slight technical hitch in the screws I used to hold the piece of wood down, I used some long ones because I needed to use long ones, and I forgot to take it out, and the chain hit it, and it snapped 3 teeth off. It's actually shattered the teeth just there. It's took the back of the tooth off. It's just sheared the tooth, gone off. So it's about 25 quid down the drain, but never mind, it's my own fault. I have to learn by my mistakes. So now it's just after 3:30 in the afternoon. You're meant to soak these for 24 hours before you fit them. And I'm wondering whether to call it a day at that, because if I put the chain on prematurely, all it's going to do is stretch, stretch, stretch and stretch. And they do say, the chainsaw bar people say, if you don't soak them, there's just so many other problems. You just can't get the oil into the rivets, and yeah, it's almost premature chain failure then. I'm going to start clearing some space so I can fit some of this in.
You found me. I didn't know love.
I've managed to have a bit of a tidy up in the timber store. Tomorrow I'm on a fencing stroke gate job, so I might bring you along for a quick time lapse of that.
Lost in the sea. I didn't know love till you found me. I didn't know love till you set me free. Didn't know love.
Good morning. I wasn't actually going to do really much filming today. Back on the sawmill. It's pouring with rain. But I want to show you this. A piece of cherry. I had this from a place called Blackforby. Quite a long time ago. I'm thinking 6-7 years ago. And for those in the know, you may notice that it's got sort of this Burr sense, and that's what you can see there. All that curly, gnarly grain where it's trying to regrow, and it regrows and it regrows. Sometimes they call it epicormic growth, and they send out a new little shoot, and then the tree tries to heal around it, and then it sends another little shoot out, and that's what all this strange sort of swirly, knobbly. I've just done some birch, and that's silver birch, that lot there. I did a sample log about the same size as that, only it just has started to spult.
Didn't know love.
It's still raining,
She was
and
singing.
I want to show you this. This is why you don't put staples in wood, in trees. Look at it. I've just hit that again. I know you can see that. I've cut it off with my other chainsaw just to find out what on earth I did, but that is a fencing staple right there. That's the other side of it right there. And now, thankfully, it's not snapped the teeth off that, because fencing staples are significantly softer than one of those decking screws that I managed to hit last time. But we've now got to sharpen up again. Executive decision, don't mess any more with it for the sake of the staple. And I am getting soaked here today.
Falling fast, so I abandoned ship, held on the mast in the ocean, wild and loud.
Just cut up a bit of lilac. It's not done any favours to my chain, I'll tell you that, but it's just some interesting colours on the lilac. Plenty of oak. More my guts out trying to get it onto the bed, and then underneath this lot on the sawdust is lots of birch, and then even more birch. Well, it hasn't really stopped raining. I've now got a big clean-up operation. Time for my tea, and it's the end of this woodlog. So I'll see you on the next woodlog. If you're able to, why not have a go at some sawmilling? So this is me signing off, soaked to the bone, in a soggy South Derbyshire woodland I'll see you on the next one.
I didn't know love till you found me. I didn't know love till you set me free. Didn't know love. 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 I didn't know love.
You doing?
It's a booby trap, isn't it? What on earth do you do with all the food paper?